All right, so in the year 2010, I decided to go get an abortion. And it was a really difficult decision for me to make. Um, I really didn't want to do it. It was a really scary thing. It went against like all of my spiritual beliefs and everything. But anyway, uh, I ended up dying during this procedure. Um, and I left my body. Um, so this is like an out-of-body experience during an abortion. I very much died. There were two other people in the room. I wasn't hooked up to any machines or anything like that. But I just remember feeling this pain, and then it was like something was wrong, and then I was gone. And I left my body. I went out through my head. I ended up in fucking space, and I was surrounded by stars, and there were two beings in front of me that were like flesh toned, and they sent. I realized that I was in space and that I was beside the spirit who I'd left the earth with, and they sent that person's spirit in another direction, like away, and then they almost acted like they didn't know what to do with me at first. And I remember one of them being like, "You're not supposed to be here." And they sent me in another direction. And I ended up in this dark void. Um, and my whole life passed before my eyes, and like I could remember things that I've never remembered. Like, I remembered being a toddler playing out in the snow, like being a baby or a toddler, like playing in the snow for the first time ever. Like, just weird stuff like that. Like, just weird random memories, things that I have never remembered came out of the vault. And, um, and then I went through watching myself die in this situation that I was just in. And I watched my kids and my family and everyone find out about what happened. And then I watched my kids grow up without me and go through their entire lives without me. And I felt the way that they felt and thought about me, that like they were angry with me even as adults, and like um, I I came to like back to this place of darkness. I was just surrounded by this void of darkness. I mean, it was darkness everywhere, like as far as the eye can. And there were other spirits roaming around in there with me, and I could feel, like, I knew what they were thinking. And there was a woman in there with me, and she was like she was like, I left the oven on. She was like angry. She was thinking about all this stuff that was happening back on the earth, and her mind was still angry. It was like she still thought that she was on the earth, and she still thought that she had to go turn the oven off and stuff. It was so weird. And but there was just, this angry spirit beside me she was so angry at her son-in-law or something like that. And I realized that like I really am dead in here, and I'm surrounded by people who don't know that they're dead. I died, and I am in the darkness. Is this purgatory? Is this hell? Am I gonna lose myself in here like that too? Like, am I in the wrong place, I was like, this is not where I belong. This is not where I was supposed to be. Like, I know that I just died while I was doing something wrong, but would that truly determine the location that I'm sent to? I was like, why am I here? I was like, I believe in God. Why am I here? And the moment that I thought that, the moment that I was like, wait a second, I believe in God. Why am I here? I felt a hand grab mine and pull me out of that dark void that I was in. And so wild, dude. I woke up and there was a woman beside me, and then a woman at my feet and stuff like that. But they had just been like standing there talking to each other for like a good 10 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, you're back. Well, you weren't with us for a moment, you know?" And I thought for a second that maybe they had waited to see if I was really dead or if I was going to come back. Anyways, it was some really weird stuff. But that is that is my one leaving the earth spiritually story. That's my one like out of body leaving the planet story. And it happened during a surgical abortion. And it was only 6 weeks along. 6 weeks and 1 day is what they said. I was so upset over what I did that I spent the following 3 months crying alone. I was literally like going in the bathroom crying. I cried so hard that I developed like a neurological issue. Like other things probably added to it, but a lot of people were also doing things to me, but I never been so sick in my whole life as I got. I've never been that sick as I got after that, and I even developed a neurological condition, and I thought to myself that I just cried so hard that I'd made myself sick like that with like a pretty debilitating intracranial fucking issue. Anyways, it ended up being other things, but that was how I felt about it then, because it was such a grievous thing. Like, you'd think that you'd be able to just think clinically and just go in and do something that you yourself aren't even morally sure is even okay. But if you have any conscience at all, if you have any heart at all, and you go in and you do something like that, you really will feel terrible about it, and you may go years, decades, or even the rest of your life with the guilt from something like that, and think of yourself as a murderer and all this shit, and that's real shit. You don't even have to be somebody who's like an extreme or devout religious person to feel some type of way about it, because the very action changes the chemistry. The abortion itself will change the chemistry in your body and throw your shit out of whack anyways. So even if you think you're able to be clinical about stuff beforehand, you're gonna go through like months of weird hormonal chemical changes that the body wasn't prepared to go through in that way. It's completely unnatural. Anyways, that is my that is my weird, creepy, out of body why I won't and why no one else should get a surgical abortion, especially. Um, I can't speak for any other abortions, but I will say that after that experience, I feel that all abortions are wrong. Um, every life and every spirit is accounted for. Um, you you may think to yourself, I don't want to see that picture of that little grain of rice on that ultrasound. I don't want to think of this as a human. I don't want to think of this as another person that I'm deleting. You can think those things all you want, but when you end up in outer space beside the spirit who you just deleted from the planet, and you guys get sent in two totally different directions, I got to see that person. I got to see that person for a second. I saw them anyways, and I'm gonna see them in the future too. You know, you can think clinically about it all you want, but there's some weird stuff that runs our universe and our galaxy. We're just pilgrims passing through. It's very real. I didn't even mean to get all emotional and stuff, but that is my abortion story, and I would urge all of you to try to find another way. There's always another way. There's always a way out. Just turn to the Lord. My situation was very complicated. However, if I could go back in time, I would have had 12 or 15 illegitimate kids. I don't even care anymore. You know, I wish I had 15 kids today. For real. I mean, no one else lasted. At least I would have them. It's where we shouldn't be sacrificing our own for ourselves. We should be learning to make sacrifices for them, you know, but not blood sacrifices, you know? All right, God bless you guys.